Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to another episode of Miles Edge with Ace Attorney Investigations. In the last episode, we exposed Shih-na as being Callisto Yew, and we found out that the Autograsso has 3 legs because it's Callisto Yew, Burn Faraday, and Bad all working together. And Shih-na was taken away for questioning by Lang, and Bad was arrested. He ordered Gumshoe to arrest him, taking away the last leg of the Autograsso. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going to go on next, but we still have quite a bit more to go, so here we go. March 15th, 12:07 a.m., Theatre in Charlotte's lobby. So now we know who the Autograsso really was, and yet there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons cross country lines, for example. The two countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to smuggle them in. Smuggling them in, huh? We will need to open a new line of investigation on just this aspect alone. But before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Hey, there's a VCR here, sir! Now we can see what's on that tape Detective Bad gave us! This piece of evidence from the KG8 incident, hidden from sight for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir! This man, it's Manny Cochin! And he's holding a knife in his hand! This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building. An apartment building? How do you figure that? Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KG8 incident, and the crime scene was the victim's own apartment. So this footage was shot at the entrance to the victim's own apartment building. At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yes. Somehow someone was able to steal it and hide it through Ernest Amano. I can see how this would have been a definitive piece and why someone would want to hide it. But it's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir. Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Portsmouth to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader. Where? Where? Wait, what was that? Huh? That bit you played just now. Please show it to me again. Manny Cochin? This car. This is something we cannot overlook. Why is that, sir? Look here, Detective Gumshoe. The flags? This is the national flag of the Principality of Cadopia. And because it has the national flag on it, we know this to be an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was a government car doing there? Ah, Miss Von Karma and Mr. Edgeworth, so you were here all this time. Ambassador Alba. Thank you very much for continuing the investigation even at this time of night. Ah, if only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I am truly sorry. This wasn't your fault, sir. This had nothing to do with how careful you were. You idiot, Quercus! You couldn't chase after a simple thief? Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that? Excuse me? I heard you've apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down, and we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. We can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You're scaring the visitors away, so I hope that you can understand how I feel. But we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues. Why don't we leave the rest to the Alabastian and Barbalese police? Ambassador! You're so close! Just a little more and... Miss Von Karma, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. And without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation anyway, right? And that's true, however, as he said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Alabastian soil, in which case, we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends? Shifu, we found Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Shifu, this way! Yo! And he was back quickly. Agent Lang? You're back on the scene rather quickly. If I laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor. Agent Lang, why have you returned? Because I have to solve this case no matter what. Well, I'm sorry to inform you. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, and so... Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable. No. Ugh. At this rate, our investigation really will come to a close. Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do. Oh, I'm very glad you understand how I feel. No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder. You... No? The... Killer? Do you really mean that, Agent Lang? Wolves don't lie. Then who is it? Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Shih-na. Lang Ji says, the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was Damas II's killer? I'll tell you who. It was you from... What the fuck? What? Where the heck did you come to that conclusion? What the heck? I was the killer? Hey, wait! But that's impossible! Yeah! Although, that whip is actually quite, Ow! Hold your tongue in that ludicrous remark you were about to make. Agent Lang, are you seriously accusing her of murder? Yeah, I am. He doesn't appear to be joking. Shit. Hey, sis. I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right? Yes, he did. But what does that have to do with anything? I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Alabast and Babal, did you not? And where is your evidence that I am the killer? I was just getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission? With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Good, and let's move out. Oh, and don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. She seems rather upset, not that I blame her. I expected that you'd accept no less. We'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that. Ugh. Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part, and so that I may clear up my superior's mess. I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery.
Oh, in that case, I want to join in too. I still haven't seen what it looks like in Alabast yet. If you let Kay in, then you gotta let me in too, pal. I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble. Hey, Gummy, let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay? Okay, I'll take you up on that. Oh yeah, I'm firing up and ready to go.
As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over, except me and Francisca did the exact same thing 7 years ago. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride. Very well. Oh, wrong voice. That's a completely wrong voice. But I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance. I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go! March 15, 2:53 a.m., Alabastian Embassy, Ambassador's Office. Okay, now let's first go over the facts one more time. Manny Cochin's body was found in the Secretariat's office in Babal. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabast's ornamental knives. And then the body of Damas II, Mr. Kashi-no, was found here in the Alabastian Ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was this primitive statue, and that this is actually a Babal statue. This case, no matter how I look at it... Sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off. Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you are saying? Of course I do, sis, and I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. And so, while people were distracted by the Yatagarasu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief who took advantage of the confusion from the fire. Even if all that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons? Don't worry, I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily taken the weapons across country lines. Hey now! Look, sis, I thought I already told you. I'm not messing around here. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring, but Shih-na certainly is tied to the smuggling ring. He's right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring, could it not be deeper than what any of us can imagine? Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already! Francisca, you need to calm down, because you only know the facts of the Alabastian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole, and therefore solve it. What? But don't worry, I'm taking this seriously as well, and I will prove your innocence. That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that could top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well. Of course, and I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of Damas II. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of Damas II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. As long as I have no good counterargument to his hypothesis, then the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do. Come on, Mr. Prosecutor, let's get started. Yes, let's. Okay, we're not investigating. I thought we were going to be investigating. One of Alabast's knives was used in Babal to murder Mr. Cochin, and the murder weapon in the killing of Damas II is Babal's primitive statue. Somehow, these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. So as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisco will remain a suspect. You got it, Mr. Prosecutor, so why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I've worked through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss. Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself. What are you talking about? By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Lang Ji never said anything to that effect. You prosecutor? Who do you think you are speaking about Lang Ji's proverbs like that? I don't need his proverbs, because my words are all you will need to see the truth. I have my own proverbs. Did anybody just forget the fact that there are two guards sitting in front, and the fact that the statue... Can this statue just fit inside of, like, a pocket or something? I don't think it can. you'd have to carry the giant statue in your hands, and there's nobody on either side that would be like, whoa, what kind of statue was that? It's the Primitive statue. They're gonna know that you're carrying the Primitive statue. There's no way unless you were to be in secret, but the only way that Francisca would ever go back and forth is between the hallway. It would be so obvious that she would be carrying the Primitive statue, but like, why are you like this, Lang? The only things to cross the border are the Primitive statue and the knife. I should hardly think that those two are the only items, Agent Lang. What did he say? Impenetrable? I should hardly think so. You've seen the top of the wall between the two countries, right? Who in the world could cross over that?
Yeah, not even I could climb over that thing with all the barbed wire.
The only way into either embassy is to enter through the doors in the Theatrum Neutralis. So the only way for the knife and the Primitive statue to traverse between the two countries is through those security camera-equipped, well-guarded doors. That's so stupid, though. That's exactly the reason why she couldn't have done it. If she was able to just... Was Francisca really the only person to have traveled between the two countries? I mean, I did. Does that mean I'm the killer? According to the guards at both doors, she's the only one to go back and forth. Are they stupid? The sis there was in Alabas when the Yatagarasu showed. And then, just before you guys found Mr. Kochin's body, she entered Babal. I think we can assume that's when she brought the knife into Babal. What the? Then how do you explain the Primitive statue? I haven't quite figured that out yet. Of course you haven't, because it's stupid. It's not a fact. It's stupid. That's not... Oh my god. Ugh. Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh? Damas II was killed with Babal's Primitive statue, yes. But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabas' Primitive statue go? To Babal. Precisely. And if the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies. I guess so. But you know what? It doesn't matter the number of items, only that the sis was the one who could have done it. Because if the only person who went back and forth between Alabas and Babal is her. Is that really true? Was there no one else who traveled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of the wall. Is that really so, Agent Lang? What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guards said along with the security camera's footage. You're not gonna overturn my hypothesis that easily. But suppose there was some other way out other than through the theater doors? What other way? The other entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I pointed out, it would open up a whole new possibility. And though I hesitate to bring this out, as long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility. Looks like you got some clever idea in mind. I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence. Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that'll show me this other route. This piece of evidence will show us another way to move between the two countries. By flying? I don't know. This is about the only thing that I can think of. Agent Lang, I'm sure you are familiar with this unforgettable photo. That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't fly. No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well. But what if we were to suddenly grow wings and start flying, like the people in Maximum Ride? I wouldn't dream of claiming that. And I won't allow you to take back what you've said either. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings, but that's exactly what I just said. What if we grew wings and we were bird people, like the people in Maximum Ride? But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible? Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation. It sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry trail shadow is... not human? Wait. Is it one of the statues? It went from Babal to Alabast. Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object, the primitive statue replica. You can't be serious. The Yatagarasu, or rather Callisto Yew dressed as Agent Shih-na, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air. Ha! Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation. I know I did. She launched it through the air? Ha! And how exactly did she do that? He is literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Unless the statue grew wings. The statue grew wings and became a bird person like those people in Maximum Ride. He called you into his office, right? So just before the murder, Francisco was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then that may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh? What are you up to now, pretty boy? Earlier you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her, and for that reason alone you believe her to be the killer. Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there is absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too! I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time, which is why I would like to hear about your movements in this room. Gah. Francisca, I feel that I still don't have enough information, which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Alright. So, what would you like me to talk about? I'd like you to please testify to your movements in this room until the murder occurred. Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can hell no! As you wish. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Francisca, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred. Is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of the situation is to ask Francisca about her testimony in more detail. Alright, so we press on. I thought your duty was to fact-find anything you could about the smuggling ring? Yes, that was my job. But upon hearing that the Adigarasu had sent a calling card to the embassy, Ambassador Alba called upon us to protect the embassy instead. That incident 7 years ago. Or have you forgotten what happened here back then? Ugh. Anything related to that case we were involved in appears to be rather painful for her. It's not exactly one I can readily forget myself.
It looks like you remember the case after all.
Of course I do.
I inspected every location, every possible escape route, and every aspect of the police's security detail. I did all that. Then after that...
Why did you need to confirm the degree of preparation for even the speech?
For security's sake, of course. What other reason could I have had? No one knew just how the Adigarasu had planned on getting in, right?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
And in the end, the Adigarasu did choose to appear in the Rose Garden. Even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Who would have thought that she would use a shadow?
Calm down, Francisca! She must still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself.
Anyway, there was no one in the Rose Garden, and we were aware that the speech was set to start soon thereafter.
At the time, Damas II's body had yet to be found in this room, is that correct?
That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence.
A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying?
Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you.
Seriously?
Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill watering his plants. I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office.
Alright then. Add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details. So Ambassador Alba was in his room at the time, was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill. Is that the only reason we need the passion flowers in here? For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill?
What do you mean by that?
The entrance to this room is on the side, however the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Is that not correct?
I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him, but fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right?
I suppose.
After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself, and is growing them with the utmost care, you know.
Yes. The plants in this room, they are all like my children.
The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully, too. All 4 of them are in full bloom.
Miss Von Karma, what did you say just now?
I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand?
What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony.
Very well.
Okay. Yeah, this is the reason why we need the passion flowers. Haha. Francisca. For some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence.
It does appear that way.
Ha! I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your word, sis.
Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this?
Yes, sir! If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir!
Eek! All I've done is state what I saw. I have made not a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles?
At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant.
Ha!
Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear as if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy.
They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth.
I understand. Okay. Holes. This patch of soil looks as though it had had something removed from it. What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why'd you clam up all of a sudden? I'm still here, waiting for an explanation, you know. Did you know, Agent Lang? Flowers are best appreciated in silence. Looks like 2 things were pulled out of this flower box. Are we not allowed to... Oh, I know what they are! The name of these flowers. I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well, and are supported by these plant supports. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, looks like there were only 2 here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you.
Miles Edgeworth! Hurry up and shut this man up for me already!
I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight. But I highly doubt it'll last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. But we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence. Shih-na, who was supposedly in Babal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks in actuality are support sticks for the passion flowers. And so what? Is this really all that important to the case? Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight.
Yeah!
Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in Alabast, but somehow they wound up in Shih-na's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled over somehow, just like the knife and the statue. Ugh. Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babal. How did these support sticks find their way to Babal and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Aha! So that's why! Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape. It's just another stick, isn't it? And so it is. But by the shape of the support sticks is what's important. For when they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes into focus. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks is... a crossbow? That's a crossbow! Wait, you're not seriously suggesting... I am. These hair sticks, or rather plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows!
Yeah!
I've done it. I found the common thread that connects the 2 offices. But this thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all of these things together. Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all. So Babal's statue was draped in the Yatagarasu's clothes and then shot over here? Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go that far without a statue tied to him. I don't think I need to tell you that the primitive statue didn't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you? No, I literally just said that the primitive statue did sprout wings. Of course they didn't. Glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact. It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation. What? You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The primitive statues flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time, and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. Alright, and that is where we're gonna stop for today. Roll the end card.
Objection! You haven't hit like and subscribe yet! Hold it! You forgot to ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload! Take that! Click here to watch more of my videos! Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!